was able to come back on here again today and talk about this topic. I'm actually going to jump right back into this. Um, First of all, I'm just going to make a little, what is it called? I need to say a little announcement before I get into this. We all know that people can be love bombed. So we're going to keep that in mind in our emotional maturity. And people can pretend at times. So you're going to have to tap into that as well. All right. So given in mind, we know about love bombing. Given in mind, we know about people pretending. Let's go ahead and jump into ways that you can kind of test people. And this is more so, the testing is in the observing. I'm going to say that as well. All right. The testing is in the observing. But before you even put yourself on the front line, we're going to do number one. How have they treated others? A lot of times people's reputations really do precede them. And I have yet to meet a person with poor character and integrity, a messy person, a messy individual that have not eventually become messy in my life as well. And the same stuff that they were doing to other people, they were eventually doing that to me. So before you even put yourself on the front line through these conversations, you get in backgrounds about, where they came from, maybe how they were raised, or how their most recent relationships were playing out and different things like that. How have they treated other people? Empaths are all too willing, the toxic ones, to be the one that gives someone a benefit of the doubt when you absolutely should not. Like, this person has pages and pages of records and stories and incidences of burning this one, betraying that one, cheating this one, So how have they treated other people? And please don't think that you'll be the exception, no matter how nice and kind you are with them, no matter how patient you are, because it's not about you. It's about them not taking accountability and them not changing their ways. So it don't matter how good you are to them. You'll be casting your pearls before swine. For sure. They're not going to appreciate it. They're just going to see you as an easy target at that point. And some of this stuff is so embedded in the individual that it's a subconscious thing where they might not even feel like they can help themselves, because at the end of the day, a snake is going to be a snake. And if it's a poisonous snake, and they bite, whoever they bite, they're going to poison no matter what. How much venom they get in that person, I guess it depends on how they get their teeth in there. I don't even know how that works, but do not think that you're going to be the exception, okay? Cynthia Sunflower says, his friend told me he was a burnout. I didn't listen. He told me he threw a glass of water at his ex. I thought it would be different with me. Yeah, that's crazy. He also told me when he got fired, he smeared poop all over his boss's back. Oh, that's disgusting. That person is an animal, Cynthia. That person is an animal. Ew. I know people like that. I know at least one person, I believe, that would be absolutely like that. And it's disgusting. Yeah, see, you got warned, but I know you learned that lesson, girl. Just in time for what I'm saying right now. How have they treated others? And if they can go that low, if they can be that nasty, they will tap right into their animalistic side. And I don't even want to blame this on animals, because animals don't behave that way, but you know why, as human beings, how we use the word animal, but just being uncivilized. Cynthia says, can you imagine I had a kid? Oh, my Cynthia, this story is just getting fuller and fuller. I'm so sorry. I would be praying daily over your child that they do not inherit this person's behavior patterns. Now, 21 years later, he just got a new supply pregnant. Okay, so the child you had with him is at least, 20 or 21 years old. Right. Because he's trying to lock somebody else in and do another cycle. Ew. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you got through it though. You know, your child is grown and you're taking your lesson, and hopefully it doesn't sound like someone else came into your life and did that again. But yeah, Cynthia's attesting to all of us. She's sharing her story. How have they treated others? Because narcissists, they have a trail. They have a trail. I could think of a very messy person. They had a trail when they met me. They were spinning it though. So you got to be careful for the spin. They're going to spin it like, you know, it was the other people, but everybody is not always everybody else, you know? When you start hearing that, that's when you got to slow down a little bit until you either, if you want to continue to get more information, or just bail out at that point. Cynthia Sunflower says he also slashed my slashed my tires and strangled me. My daughter is 21, also showing narc traits. Yeah. I'm sorry that you went through all of that. So I'm thinking that he did the tire thing and strangled you like early on in a relationship. Like this wasn't like something recent. Because that's horrible. And yeah, I do think, you know, because kids get half of their DNA from you and the other half, unfortunately, from that other person. So if you have a child for a narcissist, even if you don't bring them up in a certain type of environment, I do think genetically, they do say it, that a person can genetically become a narcissist through family history, you know? So that's the thing about having a baby with a narcissist. Cynthia says, so awful, heartbreaking. Yes, he did it when she was 3. Yeah. He was having a narcissistic rage. Hoping that you held him accountable for that in some way. That he didn't just get to do that to you and just walk free. Because the last person that put their hands on me, they got some jail time and probation after that. So, and that was a romantic partner. And this was years ago, but yeah. But yeah, how did they treat other people? You will not be the exception, you guys. I can't say it enough times. Good. Cynthia said he did have accountability for the stuff that he did to her. Good. So the next thing, when you're testing people, and like I said, it's more of an observation that you're doing at this point. Cynthia says she got full custody of her daughter and he only got visitation on my watch. Yeah. Good. She said I should have had him arrested, to be honest. That was not the first time. Yeah, I would have. Not to say that it would have made him have like this come to Jesus moment, but it would have at least gave him a punishment. You know, although shallow to him, chances are, because it's probably not even his first time going to jail. So when you're observing people, you guys, the next things on these lists is basically you're going to observe how they react to certain things, like how do they respond to good news in your life? Because, and especially women can look at this with men. I've seen, you know, not that I'll tell people things that I've accomplished right away. I won't. But as people get to know me, or they're building these personal relationships and they find out I've done this and that, I'll listen to how they respond to that. Just because I'm listening anyway. And it's my nature to pay attention to someone as I get to know them. So the testing is just subconsciously happening with me because I'm paying attention, because I'm getting to know you. You know, if you're getting to know somebody, you should be paying attention anyway. So if you're telling them good news and everything is a rebuttal with something negative, you know, that's not a good sign. You know, instead of someone saying, dang, congratulations, or saying something positive, if you're telling them some good news and is met with something negative, that is a red flag. And then if you're telling them like 2-3 things in a row and is negative, reply back, that's not a good sign. Especially I noticed this, women might notice this in the dating world, you know, and even if the guy is accomplished. So, yeah, if you're telling them good news and they're saying negative stuff back, red flag. You're also going to pay attention to how someone responds to an unavoidable no. Like they ask you to do something and it's inconvenient for you and it's just not something that you can do. Watch how a person responds to that. And I'm not talking about like situations like I've seen a situation where maybe a parent was sitting on the parent had more than enough money in their bank to help their adult child and they turned him down just out of cruelty. It wasn't an unavoidable no. Like, you're just showing that you don't support me. You're just showing that you're not willing to help me in my time of need. So we're not talking about situations like that, even though people do have a right to say yes or no, whether they have it or not. But this is letting you see how someone is showing up for you or how they really feel towards you. So if you give someone, how do they respond to your unavoidable no? Like you just don't have it to give and they still giving you a hard way, still trying to make you feel guilty about something. That's not good. And on the flip side, you'll know if someone has more than enough to help you and they still would rather see you struggle and they wouldn't even step in to help you even a little bit or anything. That lets you know how much they feel about you. The next thing I have, you guys, is how do they respond to you needing help in an emergency? So we were just talking about an unavoidable no, which kind of spilled into needing help and having an emergency. So one is you telling somebody no and making a boundary. And now this one is you needing help or having an emergency. Will they offer to help or will they give you, lead you to any help or do they show any empathy about it? So how does someone respond to you when you need help? Or if you're having any type of emergency? That's really going to show you how what we say in urban, how they F with you, right? Or you're going to test if someone is down for you. The next one, you guys, how do they respond to your misfortunes? You might even see a smirk. You might see someone, I don't know, they could ghost you at that time or just ask you a whole bunch of questions to get in your business and not try to comfort you or have empathy or provide any type of solutions or try to help you see the positive. How do they respond to your misfortunes? You're going to pay attention to that. How is this person consistency in your life at all? Like, are they constantly telling you, I'm going to call you back in an hour? You hear from them and then 2 days later is when you hear from them. And I know like some people are just about that type of life, but I don't know. I don't really like people like that. But look at the consistency. Are they always making plans with you and then changing them up? Like, is anything that they say to you easily broken? They don't really hold themselves accountable to any type of commitment, basically, that this person is making with you. Especially they're choosing a date, they're choosing a time, they're choosing a scenario and they're still dropping the ball. Are they agreeing to this and they're still dropping the ball? Like someone's consistently dropping the ball. Like I said, and I think it might be like 10 live chats back. That's consistently showing you that they're not going to be consistent in your life. So someone can consistently show you they're being consistent. I'm going to consistently show you that you won't be able to trust me in that way. So I don't know about you, but I don't allow people around me that are like that. I don't deal with them, not even with a wooden spoon. They just get an exit out of my life. I don't care who they are. Family member, so-called friend, someone that I thought was the one, whatever. Nope. When I see stuff like that, because I need to be able to trust you. People that shows a lack of priority. You're not a priority to that person. And then that means you're probably giving them more respect and priority than they're giving you, right? We're also going to do, you guys, a vibe check. Like, how do you just feel in this person's presence? What do they trigger inside of you? And if they are triggering something inside of you, you can ask yourself why. Why is that triggering just for your shadow work. But do a vibe check, because I'm telling you, I've said this in other videos, the vibe check never fails. Even if I didn't have the evidence right then and there to know for sure, like, why was I having this vibe feeling, it was always usually given within days or a week later. Like, it never took long. Whatever my vibe check was, like whatever this person was triggering me or making me feel a certain way, or my body was reacting to them, made me feel negative towards them without any solid proof of anything, it was always correct. It was always correct. So honor that within yourself. Honor it. The other thing I would say, you guys, is, don't pressure people in life. You can't really test if a person is down for you if you're always on their heels. Don't beg anybody for nothing. Don't push anybody for anything. Is somebody willing to make time for you on their own without you mentioning it? I mean, you could throw something out there in the most lightest of way. Like, let's say this was a dating situation, and you would say something so light as, I'm looking forward to meeting you. And then that person says, I'm looking forward to meeting you too. Bam. If you're the feminine energy, just wait. You could wait as long as you think you should, for that person to make time and space for you. And we'll see how much is really going on, or if that person is, sometimes it could be a work schedule, but if they're calling you every day and keep in contact and that's what it is, that's one thing. But if this person has the time and they're really not making the steps to make a plan for this date, then that's a red flag. But don't pressure people, generally speaking. I gave that example, but, big picture, don't pressure people, because if you don't pressure them, you can let people do what they want to do so that you know what they'd rather do. Let people do what they want to do so that you'll know what they'd rather do. So if they'd rather spend time with that person over you, if they'd rather make time for another woman versus you, if they'd rather spend their money this way than do something for you, if they'd rather not make a big deal about your birthday or something special to you, if they'd rather, then you're going to know. And that might hurt you, but now you weren't like on their heels begging out of desperation or reinforcing things by constantly reminding someone, no, I'm not going to pressure you. You're an adult. I'm going to let you do what you want to do. So I know what you'd rather do. I don't need anybody to put up facades, and that's not the energy that you would want. You don't want anybody to put up facades. You want sincerity. Okay? You don't want to feel like someone's giving you charity, or like, dang, this person let me do this so they can shut up. You don't want energy like that. So don't pressure. You should never be pressuring people. That's the ultimate test. Like, they were proactive. We were both matching energy. It's not me feeling like I'm chasing something. We were both coming towards each other in a pretty equal way, and there's confirmation. All right. You'll never be able to tell if somebody's down for you if you are trying to persuade them, if you are trying to buy it, if you are trying to people please to have it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about when you're trying to build a sincere relationship with someone and you want them to sincerely and naturally come towards you in a way that's real, and not because there's an incentive for them, because they want to use you for something per se. So don't pressure people. Let them do what they want to do so that you know what they rather do. And for me, what's also pretty telling is I always pray to my God. So if you have any type of religious background, I would pray to your God about this new person and ask them to reveal what you need to know about this person or about your connection with this person. And if you should be continuing this connection with this person. And this is a powerful thing to do, because once you send that out there and you're doing this from a sincere place, you're going to get an answer as long as you're willing to pay attention to it. There's a confirmation. There's another confirmation. That one got 2. So let's put this one at the top of the list because of that, which is good. To always bring someone to God first anyway. He's going to let you know. You just have to be willing to see it, willing to see the truth and not just what you want to see, or make what you want to see the truth. Like when I don't have any strongholds, meaning like this got to work out, you got to be a good person type of thing, because toxic empaths can be like that. Where someone is narcissistic or toxic, they're always thinking the worst of people, waiting for the other shoe to drop. They're probably already thinking you're about to run away and this and that. A toxic empath might be the opposite, be overly optimistic, you know what I mean? Wearing those rosy colored glasses, already jumping to conclusions before, like, you haven't even known this person a week. You're jumping to conclusions here. So you can't be thoroughly testing people, which I said is really observing a person when you're already coming to conclusions. Think of a scientist. They need facts first. They're not just doing this all quickly. They seem like a good person. And we talked about this in other live chats too. Because some narcissists, they're really good at first impressions. Have you coming home thinking, met the one and this and that. And they're just very good at that first. They're good at love bombing. So we know that people love bomb. It doesn't mean that someone's always doing that to you, but you have to know this, the periods of a relationship. There's the honeymoon phase, which could actually be a honeymoon phase or a love bomb. So it's going to be up to you to determine, is this a real honeymoon phase with the person, or is this person simply love bombing me? Okay. So, and I'm not trying to rob you of feeling good with the person, but you can enjoy the relationship without overextending too much trust, because that's not gonna, overly trusting someone too quickly. All right. Yeah. And the other thing, like I just said, not being overly invested in the turnout. Meaning, you took a chance, someone came to you or you came to them and started this friendship or this relationship. As far as you're on the surface of getting to know someone, and it can go this way or it can go that way. Be okay with either way, and if it goes to the left field, at least you found out, because time is the one thing that you can't get back. So don't be so invested in the outcome as much as you are invested in getting to the bottom of, okay, should this person be sticking around? Should we be proceeding? Like, be more invested in that. All right. So that's pretty much what I had here, you guys. Looking at how the person treated others. How do they respond to your good news? How consistent is this person in your life? Or are they consistently inconsistent? Because that's a form of consistency, right? How do they respond to your unavoidable no? Like, you just can't do it, and they're still make you feel guilty. How do they respond to you needing help or an emergency? Do they like to watch you suffer? Do they have what you need and withhold it from you? That type of thing. Like, this person is choosing you. They're saying they're your friend, they love you and this and that. They can actually help you, and they just don't. Yeah, it's not a good sign. How do they respond to your misfortunes? Are they laughing? Are they talking behind your back? Are they just quiet, not showing any empathy? Are they trying to say, okay, well, this happened, try to at least speak some positivity, maybe help you towards a solution, or I don't know, tell you, hey, I'm here for you, anything. Are they just trying to get in your business and, and then dodge on out of there. Next, we had a vibe check, you guys. How does this person's energy feel when they're around you? What is it given? How do you feel internally? Is it triggering you into something toxic or traumatic from the past? Pay attention to it. Is yet to be wrong for me. Yet to be wrong. So it might be good to just even get in the hat, look in somebody's eyes, like lock into their eyes. And what do you see and feel when you do that? Okay. What do you see when you look in their eyes? The next one, we talked about not pressuring anybody so that we can get a sincere approach, a sincere reaction. Now, when I say sincere, it doesn't mean they're being positive. They could be sincerely manipulating you, right? They could be sincerely lying to you, but it's sincere because that's their true response in that situation. That's what they wanted to do. It wasn't because they think that you're on to them and now maybe I need to tell this lie. I'm going to tell this person what I think they want to hear. I think they caught on to me. Or this person's been begging me for this or on my heel. They keep reminding me of something I said I was going to do instead of seeing if I could just follow through with the commitment that I made to you. And since I've already, do I have memory issues? No. If somebody wants to sincerely help you, they offer it, then it's on them to follow through with it. If they don't follow through with it, then that's telling you something too. So we talked about letting people do what they want to do so that you know what they'd rather do. And I hope that's not a tongue twister, because we don't need no fake nothing, because there's been obviously lots of trends of fakeness. But if you become a good observer of people, they won't go far with you. There's confirmation, because you'll attract all types of people in life, but you'll figure them out pretty fast. And then they'll probably ghost you. And like I said in another video, don't feel bad when people start ghosting you. The more you increase your emotional maturity and you're able to tap into people's energy, they're going to feel so naked. And when they're shady and they didn't have good intentions for you anyway, they're going to leave. You know? Or if they know they're shady and have bad intentions for you, but you're willing to tolerate it, you're willing to not have the proper boundaries, of course they're going to run with it. That's what a narcissist want anyway. You know what I'm going to do. You know what I'm about, but you just still can't leave me alone. Oh, I'm in heaven. I don't even have to wear a mask with you. I can just do what I do and come and go as I please at that point, because you don't have the guts to put me in my place and put me out of your life. So no, don't give anyone that type of power. There's nobody in my life, and even the people I love the most, that I would not be willing to let go of if they wasn't right, if they were going to harm me. I'm not going to just sit there and let you do that. Disrespect me, take advantage of me. Absolutely not. That's not love. You know, that's what they call love. They think you're loving them by being a fool for them. Being a fool for them is the love. No, it's not. That's being a fool. It's literally being a fool, being foolish. And it's not loving yourself. It shows a lack of self-love, because who would willingly want to sign up for that and continue along that path? Someone that doesn't think they can have better, someone that doesn't think highly of themselves, and someone who's been conditioned to accept less. That's what that normally is. And in all three cases, it's really sad, honestly. That person needs help. So when you don't have all that going on, like, you know what? I wanted you, but I don't need you. Or I thought I want you, but now I don't, because now I know this about you. You know, if you're able to adjust at every corner in your relationship developments and reassess, you know, I can't just put someone in one spot and make it permanent. And this is how someone might not be your best friend forever. You found out she's trying to take your man or something like that. Like, okay, well, you're not my best friend. That's not best friend behavior. And that's not something someone should be able to come back from. Not in my world. I'm good. I'm super good. So, like I said, when you're not locked into it needing to go a certain way, and you just want to protect yourself, because this is self-preservation. Because after a while, and you have enough experiences, you guys, and there's confirmation, you should know the severity and the seriousness of allowing someone to get close to your energy, especially, even if it's a business partner. That too, you gotta watch who you're doing business with too. What? Like, this is across the board, you guys. Letting anyone get close to anything you have going on and or close to your heart. That's a privilege. That's a privilege. And sometimes it has to be revoked or readjust or snatched back, It's a privilege. It's not a given. It's a privilege and not a given. It is a privilege to sit at your table. It's a privilege to have a conversation with you. It's a privilege to have my personal phone number. It's a privilege to be able to touch my body. These are privileges. People should be honored for that. Yeah, they should. When you think of and you see yourself in a certain light, and the good intentions you're bringing into the people around you, that you're not going around hurting people. You're going around to be reciprocal. You're coming around to be authentic. Yeah, so I need to make sure you're doing the same thing. And if I find out you're not, that's it. And that's okay to be it. I'm not going to have a long conversation. I'm not going to ask you why you have these behaviors. I'm not going to try to help you heal through your past traumas. You need to come to a channel like this or go into therapy. But if they were signing up for a certain type of involvement with you, then they should have been mature enough to see that through. There's a difference between wanting a perfect person and just not wanting a toxic person. You have to be healthy enough to have a healthy relationship. Because none of us are perfect, but are you healthy enough to even have a relationship? So, that matters. And if they can't make the cut, they just can't. It doesn't make them even a bad person. Maybe they just haven't done enough work to be with someone on the level of work that you've done. Maybe you've done a whole bunch of work. So at this point in your journey, the people that come near you, they would have had to do a certain amount of work too. Or else you would be subjecting yourself to your past energies. Or, from the stuff that you work so hard to get out of. This isn't like a malicious thing, the testing of the people and observing people. Because the world is full of billions of people, but we're all in different spaces and places with our mentalities and our perceptions and, our healings. And that's it, If someone's trying to connect with you and they're toxic, they're just going to be a weed. And it will start to bring you down. It'll be a matter of time. And depending on how toxic they are, how quickly that'll happen. So if you're down for yourself, this will be one of my last points. If you're down for yourself, you'll be able to quickly know who's down for you. It's the people who aren't truly down for themselves that will fall victim to this a lot. You know why? Because they're probably going to be down for other people more than themselves. Their sense of self-preservation, their sense of self-awareness, their sense of reciprocating is going to be out of whack. People who are used to giving other people and not knowing how to receive for themselves, or not even requiring a certain amount of reciprocation, because people are like, I don't want to be used. What are you talking about? Everyone's getting used, but it's a different kind of use when you're with someone that is reciprocal versus the used that comes with being, let's say, a narcissist or a toxic person. That's a one-way street. But if we're both useful to each other, what's wrong with that? That's called a healthy relationship. Like, I don't understand people. I don't want to be used. What do you mean? That means there's nothing good about you. What do you think God has you here for? You're supposed to produce. You're supposed to share your energy with the world, but not to your detriment. You're not supposed to let people come suck on you like an energy vampire and just take from you. But it's okay to be used. That means you're a useful person. Like, God can use you in many ways, but he's not going to put you in situations to where he can't continue to use you. That's what we do to ourselves by sharing our gifts with the wrong people, letting other people exploit and take advantage of, and not require that reciprocation. You know, charity is one thing. We're not talking about zakat. We're not talking about charity here, where I'm giving in excess. I have been blessed to give this to that, you know, whatever the cause is. And I'm not expecting anything. I'm giving this from my heart. I have extra, you know. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about, you know, being married to someone, being in a tight, close friendship, you know, family members. They're supposed to be able to reciprocate it to you. Their title requires them to do it. Now, will they actually do it? That's what you have to figure out, what's going on here. And then to me, the titles get stripped. The titles get stripped. I'm pretty much a loner. You know, I don't deal with a lot of people, but I like it that way. And I've been liked it that way. But my circle continues to get smaller and smaller as I've, you know, come to grips and come to the reality with certain people that I keep wanting to bring with me, but I just can't. You know, I just can't do it for one reason or another. I can't turn a blind eye. When your emotional maturity reaches a certain level, you can't unsee stuff. You'll be offending yourself. You're going against yourself, and you're offending God too, because he's like, well, you know what? I've opened your eyes to this person, but you still want to keep them around. You're still letting them have a certain amount of access to your energy. You know they're not reciprocating you, so they're draining you. You know? So when your eyes get open, you have to make the adjustment, no matter who it is. No matter who it is. And I've said this a couple of live chats ago, the more gifts that God gives you, chances are the less people he's going to have in your immediate circle. Now, I'm not talking about, let's say I came on this channel and 1 million people watched this live chat. That's fine. That's fine. But they're not in my immediate circle. So yeah, he can use your gifts on a large scale. But as far as what he's going to bring close to you, he's going to protect it because he doesn't want that energy to get messed up. He doesn't want you to get distracted in the wrong direction. And, you know, anything like that. So be down for yourself first and foremost. So if you have self-esteem issues, you know you have a hard time saying no and setting boundaries, you're too people-pleasing, these are stuff you're going to have to work on with yourself, because it's going to be a blind spot for you to be able to tell who's down for you, you know? And I teach this, like, with the twins. I had to tell, one of the twins are obsessed with bunny rabbits. And one of her friends, and this is crazy, kids are stupid. One of her friends tried to manipulate her by always giving her little bunnies and stuff like that. But in exchange for her giving her that little bunny, you know, she was being rude to my daughter. And I was like, wait a minute. First of all, we're going to give all those bunnies back. Because I bought her 1 million bunnies, but she kind of feels like she should have all the bunnies in the world. And I had a conversation with her about that too. Like, you don't need all the bunnies in the world, first of all. You don't have space for them. I talked about her. I was like, you know, your friend's manipulating you. You know, my daughter just turned 8. I was telling her this when she was 7. She knows that if she just mentions the word bunny or give you a bunny, something she could have got from the Dollar Tree, that she can make you do anything to get that bunny, even though you have so many bunnies, but you want that bunny. So she knows if she could tell you to do this and that. So teach your kids, you guys. I was like, how you letting her control you like that? I just broke it down to her, you know, what was going on in the situation. And we definitely gave those bunnies back. And then weirdly, her dad tried to come and give a bunny. I'm like, well, what is number one? What are you doing bringing a bunny? You're a man. Stay out of this. First of all, I don't like a man coming to give my daughter something. Don't pass a bunny to her from the little girl, because they're not even allowed to play with each other anymore. Like, that situation, just, I had to like get in there. But long story short, you know, if somebody knows you're thirsty for something, they could dangle a carrot, or they'll give you that. But in return, they might be doing something else that's degrading you or going against you. So we can't, be caught up in material things. And I just heard a notification on one of my phones where people can use you for anything. Like, have a self-awareness about yourself. If you know that you might be prone for something, like you're needy for attention, but then the person's using you for something else in the back door. So, it's always best to learn how to fill your cup. And that's how an introvert can probably pick out these people who aren't down for you easy. Because we don't need the people like that. It's like, well, I don't even, borderline might not even like people like that. Borderline don't even like them. So I'm not really needy, So we're willing to see it. We're willing to see it. So I hope this live chat helps somebody out there as far as learning how to test people that's down for you. And, at the end of the day, if you just watch what the person naturally doing, you're going to find out what they'd rather do, And I'm hoping that you will find out well before you put them in an important position in your life. That's the whole goal, is to be able to vet people, and they could change. Because look, I've had a Britney Spears type wedding. You know how you marry someone and it's like over in 3 weeks? I've experienced that once in my life. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Because something came to light. I wish I had known it. But that was a wrap. It was like, oh, really? No. I was like, I don't care how much this cost me, but I'm getting the fuck on. Ain't no way. So, when I make these videos, you guys, I'm talking from a place of experience. You don't have to learn everything the hard way. You can actually learn from other people's fails, which is why I don't understand, like in I don't even know what they call it, the relationship fair or whatever, people giving advice who haven't been married or anything. But people putting down the people giving advice that may have been divorced 2-3 times. Well, they know what not to do. What you mean? You can learn from that. Any business owner would tell you, maybe it took them 20 business ideas before the 21st business idea was the one that took off. But they had a bunch of fails, but all of those fails, they learned from it. You can minimally, learn what not to do if you take the lessons. So it's too much wisdom on this channel. You guys don't really have to learn the hard way. Just take the wise counsel, but make sure it's wise, okay? Because a lot of people get led into the dark by fake prophets or, people who really don't have your best interest at heart, is not really trying to help you out, So be careful with that. Be careful. And if something seems too good to be true, be careful with that too. Narcissists know that people want to hear what they want. They secretly, you want people to do what you want them to do. And if they think they know what that is until they get what they want, they're going to oblige that. All right, you guys. If you have any questions, you can always leave them down in the box. You can do this just throughout the live chat. I check in. If I see questions, I answer them. We're going into a snowstorm out here. I'm about to be chilling. I have to put my dinner in the oven. And I'm definitely not going out into this because it sounds a little icy. It's winter time. But I hope everybody is well. I hope the New Year's is okay for you. It's been a little rough just looking in the news lately with all this stuff going on. And honestly, I was a little saddened. When I seen the TikTok went down, but I heard about some content creator committed suicide. You guys, I'm hoping it's not that deep for anybody. And I understand, like, maybe, if the TikTok was providing for that person's bills and they just feel like lost and stuff, but you're more valuable than an app, You're more valuable than an app. You had a life before TikTok and you'll have a life after it, you know? So that's really sad to hear. You know, mental illness, you know, that person probably had depression. But it's really some of the stuff that I'm starting to hear about people's reactions to this, you know, losing the TikTok. I was definitely sad about hearing the guy taking his life. I'm like, you know, when stuff happens that's out of your control, it just means there's a redirection. You know, something else will happen for you. And we have to just grin and bear, right? There's confirmation. And you're talking to someone who's had to start over in life before. So when you do that one time, all it takes is that you experience that one time and you know you survived, you had everything you need, and you got through that situation and came back up stronger than before, you know you can face anything. So TikTok is not the end all be all. You know, it was great for community because I didn't really take to it. I didn't really take to TikTok like that, but I actually enjoyed TikTok through YouTube, where people would come over to the YouTube platform and make videos. It would be like compilations of TikTok. So that's kind of how I was connecting with it. And it was nice to hear, you know, everybody could jump in and tell their stories and, you know, give different perspectives on things. And that was a positive thing. But it is what it is at the same token, and it's not worth anybody harming themselves or taking their own lives. That is so sad. That is so sad to hear. You know, and you're talking to an 80s baby, so yeah, I grew up without the internet, but in high school, of course, the internet started booming with the dial-up internet and all this and that. But yeah, I think, and then people are running over to other apps. I'm like, gosh, like people, they just need to have the platform. They need to, but hey, I'm here on YouTube doing what I do. So, and I enjoy doing that, I guess, you know, so but I do feel, you know, I don't know, we just have to be seen all the time. I don't know, but I just hope that no one else harms themselves or feels like they have to take that way out just, you know, because TikTok is down. I mean, it could even be temporary from what I hear, but it could be permanent. And if it is, then it is what it is. That means it's something else for you. But your life is more valuable than a TikTok and followers and this and that. And I understand people were making money off of that. But this is the internet. There are other ways. If that's what, you know, if that's how you get it. But yeah, mental health is a real thing. And notice when I told you guys about seeing if someone was down for you, I didn't tell you to ask them a bunch of questions per se, because people can lie. That's why I didn't tell you guys that. Of course, you're going to be having questions and conversating with the person, but I didn't really go the route of asking so many questions because people lie. But you know what? Actions don't lie for long, even if they lie for a little bit. They usually can't lie for long. And if you really pay attention, you'll see little nanoseconds of where their facial expression is not lining up with what they're saying. And your vibe check is going to be screaming at you. You may not know why, but your body is already in tune with the situation. So it's not really about so much of a person's words, even though that can be helpful depending on the situation, but observing the person, observing them and how did they treat others, that's a big one. That is a huge, huge indicator because people rarely change, even though it's nice. But you're like, well, we change, we're evolving. But when I say change, I mean like dramatically switch sides. You're not changing necessarily from dark to light. You were always trying to be kind and giving. You're just better learning how to protect yourself and learning how to not be kind and giving to the wrong source. You're learning how to channel the energy into the right direction. That's more so, what empaths are trying to learn how to do. But if that person was always a thief, always, up to no good, and even recently, and leaving trails of messiness, and yeah, they're just trying to find a better source to accept that, or a better source that will stick around. So there's a difference. So they're not changing in that way. They're not trying to be like you because they think you're stupid. All right, you guys, I have no water up here with me. And I didn't drink that much today, so I'm definitely about to end this and go down to the water cooler. I hope you guys have a nice day. I hope that this talk has been helpful to someone and they're increasing their emotional maturity. You can definitely hit the like bell, the like and subscribe, share this content with anyone you think, would be helpful to. Take care, you guys. Stay safe. Take your time with people. Have your eyes open for the truth and keep it real with yourself. All right. And be down for yourself. You do these things and, you'll be able to start sifting through people. And it might feel a little sad because you're going to find out that most people just ain't it. You'll be tossing people back left and right, putting up boundaries, keeping people out. It's like, dang. But it is what it is. Because a lot of people are in the dark side, and a lot of people are not doing the work. So you may not have that many people that can really sit with you like that. But hey, it's better to know that and accept that if that's the case. And be patient for, when you do finally meet these people or a person that you're able to befriend and start building community with. Just be patient for that, because the last thing you want to do is be hasty and take anybody just out of hastiness. And they're sabotaging you, being an energy vampire, and all the negative stuff that will tear you down. All right? It's not worth it, you guys. It is not worth it. The half friendship, the fake lover is not worth it. All right, you guys. Take care. I'll see you in the next live.